Saving money is hard, especially with all the financial pressures we face. But today I'm going to share some practical tips that can help you save money even when it feels almost impossible. Welcome back to the journey. My name is Agnes. If you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Alright, let's jump in. I get it. It's tough out there. Everything's expensive. Kids are expensive. School fees is expensive. Groceries expensive. Inflation keeps on going up, but our salaries are not meeting that inflation. It's just making things almost impossible. Saving money feels like a luxury that most of us cannot afford. So you might even be thinking, how can I even begin to save money when I can barely even eat or barely even send my kids to the school that I want to send them to? That's a valid concern, but there are ways to save money even though it feels impossible. So the first tip is to track your expenses. Now it might sound simple, but this is the most important part of the plan. When you are trying to save money that you do not have, you first need to track your expenses. No matter how small it is, you just need to track. You don't need a fancy app or a fancy spreadsheet. All you have to do is just to write things down, the things that you spend your money on, so that you can know exactly where is that money going to. People have subscriptions that they do not even utilize, but they are paying for them. So something like just going through your bank statement, tracking each and every single thing that goes out of your bank statement can come a long way. So that's the first tip. You need to track everything. So with tip number 2, once you have tracked down everything, you need to prioritize the necessity and then cut out the rest. At least until you save an emergency fund. So I know we all want to live the best lives that we have made for ourselves or we have planned for ourselves. But until you have an emergency fund, you need to cut out almost everything that is not a necessity. So make it a thing to live on your basic necessity, to live with your basic needs for some times until you build at least an emergency fund of a month or 2 or 3. 6 is even better, but let's just start with, if you can just build an emergency fund for a month or even 2 months, then you can go back to living your best life. But for now, if you do not have any savings, you need to make that sacrifice to cut out anything that is not a necessity. Anything that is not a basic need, you need to cut it out. So things like eating out, you can cut that out for a month or 2. Cook at home, subscriptions, you can cancel some subscription for like a month or 2. Tip number 3, you now need to set a small, realistic goal, and you will have to be consistent. So if I tell you that you need to save 1,000 Rand, you'll be like, where will I get that? I don't have that kind of money. However, if you can try to save 10 Rand every single week or even 20 Rands every single week, the goal is to be consistent. Start small, build that momentum, and once this saving becomes a habit, then you can start saving maybe like 100 Rands a week or every second week, something like that. But you need to make it a thing to start small. Don't just tell yourself that I'm planning to save 1,000 Rand. How are you going to save that 1,000 Rand? If your goal is to have like an emergency fund of 1,000 Rand in 2 months, then divide that by 60. Make it small, achievable goals. You will see when the momentum builds, it also just gives you the motivation to keep going. And then eventually we want that habit to stick, so that when you start making more money or when you have a lot more money, then it's easier for you to save. Tip number 5 is that you have to make saving automatic. Anything that requires effort, that requires you to come out of your way and do it, might be delayed or might not even happen at all. But if you automate it, if you said that 10 Rand will come out of your savings account automatically, 10 Rand has to come out of your checking account automatically to your savings account every single week, then you don't even have to think about it. It just takes away that pressure of you having that friction. It takes away the friction of you having to think about it. It goes in automatically. Once you have set that realistic small goals, then make it automatic. Tip number 6 might sound a little bit boring, and not everybody might want to do this one, but personally, I believe that it's actually super important that when you are trying to save money, if you're somebody who's really never saved any money, you need to live frugally for some time. A frugal lifestyle doesn't mean that you are just going to deprive yourself of everything. No, it just means that you are being smart with your money. You start learning to appreciate things that don't cost much, because sometimes people just are used to buying the expensive things that they overlook on the not so expensive things. Then you would find that those things are completely the same. You're probably just spending a little bit more money because of the brand. So frugal living, you need to embrace it. For some times, as long as you do not have any money saved, especially if you do not have an emergency fund, you need to cut down all the things that are not a necessity, and you have to embrace frugal living. And that frugal living can be super rewarding when you see your savings grows, or when, like for example, you know that an emergency comes and you don't have to call your uncle or call somebody to borrow money from or go to the bank. You can directly reach for your own money. Then you will see that this frugal living is actually rewarding because it has helped you to save the money that you wouldn't have saved if you did not live frugally. And then a bonus tip, the last tip, is that you need to celebrate small wins. So if your goal was to save 1,000 rands in like 2 months, and then 1 month goes by, you've only saved 200 rand, I want you to celebrate that. I don't want you to beat yourself up and be like, oh, I should have saved 50% of my goal, but I've only saved 20%. No, celebrate that. Celebrate that. Make adjustment. There's so much power in you recognizing your efforts and celebrating them. Recognizing your progress will definitely keep you motivated. So like, yeah, I know saving money can be tough, especially when you are starting. If you follow these strategies and these tips, you will definitely be able to make progress even when times are tough. So start small, be consistent, and remember that every single small achievement matters. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video useful, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed, and also don't forget to turn on that notification bell so that when I post a new video, you get it. Again, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.